ரேல்பெட்டி தாட்ஸ் ராகவியின் அன்பு வணக்கங்கள் மக்களே. நான் நல்லா இருக்கேன். நீங்க எப்படி இருக்கீங்க? நல்லா இருக்கீங்கன்னு நம்புறேன். இந்த வாரம் மார்ச்சின் முதல் சண்டே. அதுல நான் உங்கள சந்திக்கிறேன். இதுல என்னன்னா, ஓகே 2025 வந்திருக்கோம். என்ன ஸ்பெஷல்? எத பத்தி கொஞ்சம் இன்ட்ரஸ்டிங்கா பேசலாம் அப்படின்றதுக்காக, இப்ப தேடுனேன். எதுல தேடினேன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, ஒரு காலத்துலலாம் கூகுள்ல தேடிட்டு இருந்தேங்க. இப்ப என்ன மாறிருச்சுன்னா, அந்த ChatGPT, ஏஐ டூல்ஸ் அந்த மாதிரியா ஃபுல் சர்ச்சே அங்க மாறிருச்சு. ஸோ ஐ வாஸ் திங்கிங், ஹவ் ஹேவ் ஐ ட்ரான்ஸ்ஃபர்ட் ஃப்ரம் கூகுள் டு ChatGPT? இப்பலாம் கூகுள் வெரி ரேர்லி ஐ கோ. என்னோட மெயின் ப்ரௌசரா ChatGPT மாறுது. ஸோ இத பத்தி நம்ம ஏன் பேசக்கூடாது? இது ஒரு குட் டாபிக்ல. மெனி பீப்பிள் ஆர் ஸ்டில் நாட் யூசிங் ChatGPT or some people are vastly using ChatGPT. சில பேருக்கு இன்னும் ஒரு டேபு இருக்கு. அது ரொம்ப குடுக்கக்கூடாது. நம்ம டேட்டாவ நெறைய ரீட் பண்ணுது அப்படின்றத நெனைக்கிறாங்க. ஸோ இன்னும் சில பேருக்கு அது எப்படி ப்ராப்பரா யூஸ் பண்றதுன்னு தெரிய மாட்டேங்குது. எவ்வளவோ YouTubeல வீடியோஸ் அண்ட் லெக்சர்ஸ், சஜஷன்ஸ், எஜுகேஷனல் வீடியோஸ் இருந்தாலுமே, the right way of asking question to a ChatGPT. நெறைய ஆப்ஸ்ல இன்பில்ட் பண்றாங்க வர வர ஏஐய. தட்ஸ் த நியூ வேர்ல்ட். அத எப்படி நம்ம ப்ராப்பரா யூஸ் பண்ணணும் அப்படின்றதுக்காக, இது நான் சொல்றத விட, நம்மளோட டெக் குரு, ஓகேவா, நம்மளோட போன ஸ்பீக்கர் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா மணி கார்த்திக், who is an exceptional speaker. He is a TEDx speaker as well. He has his own business for NRIs back to India. அவங்க he is a tech guru. He started his career itself by blogging about what kind of tech information I can give you. அவங்கள்ட்ட கேட்டால் கரெக்டாக இருக்கும்ல இந்த கொஸ்டின் அப்படின்றதுக்காக, இன்னைக்கு again he is going to be our very special guest. வணக்கம் மணி கார்த்திக்.
வணக்கம் ராகவி, how are you?
I am good, thank you. உங்களை மீண்டும் சந்திக்கிறதுல ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம்.
Very happy.
அண்ட் யா, இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங்கான ஒரு கொஸ்டின்ல ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னு எனக்கு தோணுச்சு. 2025ல இந்த ஆப்ஸ் என் ஃபோன்ல இல்லாம இருந்தா என்னால சர்வைவ் பண்ண முடியாது. இந்த ஏஐ பில்ட் ஆப்ஸ் கண்டிப்பா எனக்கு இருக்கணும் ஃபார் மை டே டு டே சஸ்டெயின் பண்றக்கூடிய ஒரு லைஃப். அப்படின்னா என்னென்ன ஆப்ஸ்?
Very interesting, very interesting. Actually, most of these, like whatever is happening in the AI world is like very, very fast. So இன்னைக்கு இருக்கிறது நாளைக்கு இருக்காது, அந்த மாதிரி தான் இப்போ போயிட்டு இருக்கு.
Correct.
Because every day, new apps are coming and new technology itself is coming, which is very, very scary and very beautiful also. இப்போ பார்த்தீங்கன்னா லாஸ்ட் ஒரு early 2000s, 2005, 2010 அந்த மாதிரி டைம்லலாம் இந்த மாதிரிலாம் it never used to happen. But anyways, to answer your question, obviously ChatGPT is what everybody uses, but there's a few uses of ChatGPT that I really hope more people make use of, which is using ChatGPT with voice. I don't know if many people use that, but you can actually talk to ChatGPT in a very, very natural way, and I personally see myself doing a lot of that. So even though it's cliche, that is number one. Then few other things is number one.
எங்க அப்பா will prefer that way. எங்க அப்பாக்கு டைப்பிங்லாம் வராது. ஸோ எப்பவுமே வயசானவங்களுக்குலாம் ஈஸியா அவங்களுக்கு கன்வே பண்றதுக்கு with voice is a good option, because need not to type, and lazy people basically. Correct. That's also a good option.
Yeah, so that's number one. Another one is a small app. It's called Grammarly. It's not essentially completely AI, but it has an AI element to it. But I'm sure you probably already know this, but basically it lets you fixes your grammar and everywhere, like on emails and all that. It sits on your browser. So that's a beautiful app. Very, very useful. They have like a paid and a free version also. That's something that I keep using. Another one is HeyGen. I don't know if you know about this. HeyGen. Basically, this app lets you create your own videos without you actually taking them. It's ரொம்ப confusing ஆ இருக்கும். But basically, it's like this. You can give them your previous videos and it'll understand those videos and it'll figure out how you look and how your body movements are and all that. And if you give a text, like a script, then it'll actually redo the whole thing. Basically, you will see yourself reading out that script life like. you can actually do it. So it's a very very scary kind of a technology. It's not perfect. You can make out that it is generated by AI, but I'm pretty damn sure that in the next 1 year or so, you'll see a lot more better versions of this app. So Hagen is a very very
Hagen.
it's
And can we use it for free or
yeah, there is a free version and a paid version as well.
paid version as well?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, a lot of people, I think a lot of influencers are actually using this, like in studio
Okay.
setups and all. So they don't actually have to be in the studio. you know?
Ah,
So that's one thing. Then another very interesting tool that I use is called Submagic. Sorry.
Submagic.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
called Submagic, submagic.co. Basically, what it does is it'll add like the AI generated titles, subtitles, text effects, transitions, a lot of those manually done edits on videos, right? That'll be
Okay.
done with this app, and it saves you a lot of time. So I do a lot of content, like you mentioned, on Instagram and YouTube. So this app saves me a lot of time,
Okay.
because I don't have to manually edit any of the videos. So
So,
yeah,
what kind of editing does it is automatically? Like when
yeah,
you
it does a
say,
little the basic stuff only. Like for example, when you have a cut, it adds the transitions there. You can choose the transition,
ah,
then it'll automatically pick up what you're saying and it'll add the subtitles by itself. And within those subtitles, you have different templates and fonts and colors and
okay,
etc. to choose from. So that actually you
interesting.
don't have to manually do any of this. So that is a great app that I really like. So
Okay.
how many have you covered so far? Three,
I have covered four.
four. Okay,
ChatGPT. Okay, ChatGPT is fine. We can leave ChatGPT. Then it's three.
three, right? Do
Yeah.
you know about Claude? Claude.
No.
Okay, Claude is kind of like ChatGPT, but it's far far better than ChatGPT, because ChatGPT is more about reasoning and things like that. Claude is a great app that'll write almost human like. So much more
Ah.
better than ChatGPT, because it is pre-trained in human written data.
Okay.
That is one app that I really like. And then, of course, the final one, I'll just add one more bonus, which is Perplexity. Um, so that is an amazing AI app that fetches you accurate information about anything that you want. And it'll also write articles and everything, but it has this whole data layer which is very, very accurate.
Okay.
Something that
So
ChatGPT
why
still
should
has to
I
do.
go to Perplexity and not to ChatGPT? Why is
Perplexity,
Perplexity
yeah,
unique?
it's because it's the data is pre-trained with is very very accurate in terms of basically accurate data. Like if you ask ChatGPT some question, it might fake, it might not give you the accurate data, but it'll tell you as if like it is real. I don't know if you've seen this, and it has
Okay.
a very, like for
Yeah.
example, if you ask it not the most obvious things, but like lesser known things, like if you ask what is the population of India, probably will give you a very good answer. But like something more less obvious, like for example, what is the how many females are there in Chennai or something like that, right? If it can't find the right data, it'll just make it up by itself.
Okay.
It'll say like, there are 30 lakh or something like that,
Okay.
and it'll give you a disclaimer saying that I could be wrong.
Okay. So let's say if I'm planning a trip to say Turkey, okay?
Yeah.
இப்ப எனக்கு வந்து எந்த ஆப்ல வந்து should I depend on ChatGPT or Perplexity? Is that good?
For this one, I would say Perplexity,
For
because
okay.
ChatGPT picks it up from publicly available websites and all that. Perplexity does a little bit more in-depth analysis, and it'll tell you, like for example, the flight charges at this particular time is more or less, or you have to choose this particular day for booking. The hotel
Okay.
prices might be higher on this particular day. So all kinds of analysis that you would need at least two or three layers. In
In
ChatGPT,
ChatGPT
you will
just
get it
comes
right
in one
from
go.
the get go. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
So
good.
that way,
Interesting.
it's not as conversational as ChatGPT, though. So that is one, a problem as such. But otherwise, the accuracy of the data and all that, I would always go for Perplexity and not
Okay.
ChatGPT.
Yeah. and Claude is a personalizing, and the personalization way of giving the content in something like Claude.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't you think even in ChatGPT,
yeah.
I think I might be wrong, but I just need some
Mm,
information from you, saying
mm,
that but
mm,
நம்ம way of context, நம்ம way of அந்த டைப்பிங்கை வந்து அனலைஸ்
mm,
பண்ண சொல்லிட்டு
mm.
அதே அந்த விதத்துல அந்த கண்டெக்ட்ல எனக்கு அந்த வே ஆஃப் ரைட்டிங்ல எனக்கு கொடு அப்படின்னு சொன்னா ChatGPTயும் கொடுக்காதா?
They will, but the problem is ChatGPT is like a 5-year-old kid. Okay, a lot of
Okay.
us think that it's a very super intelligent AI. It is not. It's still learning, and
Okay.
what the better it will perform if you give good data. Like the more data it
Ah,
gets, the better the performance is. So when I say data, for example, Raghavi will have a particular way of writing, a particular way of constructing the sentences and all that, right?
yeah, yeah.
ChatGPT doesn't know that, but ChatGPT knows how Mahatma Gandhi writes, or how William Shakespeare writes, because those are very,
Okay.
very publicly available data, right? There are books
Okay.
by these people. So that style it knows, but not Raghavi style. So if you want to make it right like you have to teach it how to. So you have to
Okay.
tell, hey, I am so and so, and these are some examples of my writing. So if you have
Okay.
anything written down in your blog or somewhere, you can copy paste, and the more you give it, the more it'll learn. And ChatGPT will make a lot of mistakes. So you have to basically train it to get the
Yeah,
kind of
okay.
output that you want.
Okay. But what
Mm.
about in Claude? இது வந்து இந்த ஸ்பெசிஃபிகேஷன்ஸ் கொடுக்கணும்னு அவசியம் இல்லை, கரெக்டா?
I would assume if you wanted to write it the way you write, then little bit is required. At
Training,
least like
yeah.
one or two articles is enough. ChatGPT
Yeah.
will require like a lot more, but Claude has a natural way of writing better because it's
Okay.
trained with a lot of literature. So it
Okay.
knows, for example, how to write a story and make it interesting. ChatGPT will write a very boring story in the first get go, unless you have given
Okay.
it proper instructions.
Multiple.
Like if you
Yeah,
tell,
yeah, yeah.
write a story about tortoise and hare, then it'll write a story. Of course, it's going to be a story, but you can tell it is a very boring story, and it is,
Okay.
like that.
Good.
Mm.
So the apps which we discussed were ChatGPT with the voice thing,
Yeah,
and Grammarly,
yeah,
Heigen, Submagic
yeah,
Co,
yeah.
Claude, and Perplexity. Right?
Yes, yes.
Interesting. Good start for the conversation, I would say, because idla surprisingly I have only two, but the rest I don't have. I mean, I'm hearing it for the first time. So I think நம்மளோட ஆடியன்ஸுக்கும் இது ஒரு நல்ல இன்ஃபர்மேட்டிவான ஒரு பாட்காஸ்ட் தான் இருக்க போகுது.
Mhm.
Having
I
said
hope so.
that, இப்ப நிறைய பேர் வந்து the way we are searching,
Yeah,
yeah, கண்டிப்பா.
yeah,
The way we are
yeah.
searching, I know generally நிறைய இப்போ எதுக்கு எடுத்தாலும் ChatGPT. For example, I was so astonished to see the other day where there are
Mm,
certain reels where people go to Korea or
mm,
in those China parts to see
mm,
what dresses or what tones match them, what colors match them, right?
mm, mm, mm,
And அதெல்லாம் தேவையில்லை, நீங்க அதை ChatGPT-லே பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு
mm,
ஒருத்தவங்க அதை எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்றாங்க.
mm.
But I was like, what? இது மாதிரிலாம் முடியுமா அப்படின்ற மாதிரி, uh, where you go to a person, have the personalized experience, but here you have to just sit in your home, just
Yeah.
do some color filtering and that and this, and the way of prompting, அதுவே
Yeah.
ஒரு ஸ்கில்னு நினைக்கிறேன் ChatGPT-ல, that many
Yes.
people are not knowing.
Yes, 100%. I mean,
Yeah.
this is probably the most important thing that our generation has to learn, because take my word for it, in another 1 or 2 years, you will see a lot more people talking about prompt engineering. It's called prompt engineering, where,
Okay.
because you see, ChatGPT or Claude or any other tools that comes up, they are pre-trained and they are supposed to do tasks. Now, what tasks it should do and in which way, what should be the output, all these things should be given to this particular tool. Okay, so anyone who is doing it better, as in who can give those kind of instructions to these tools in a better, clearer way, will be the winner.
Yeah.
Not because
Okay.
you have access to the tool. Just by having access to ChatGPT is not going to get you anywhere. But if you know
Okay.
how to make use of it, if you know how to give the right prompts, then it'll take you places. So that is the demand that's there in the industry right now. where you need
Mm.
people who understand or who know how to train and give prompts to not only just ChatGPT, every other AI tool out there. Yeah,
ஒரு நல்ல எக்ஸாம்பிள் நம்மள பேசலாமா? ப்ராம்ப்ட்
sure,
இன்ஜினியரிங்னு சொல்றீங்க. Yeah, I do
sure.
know, but because there are also a lot of generation these days. Let us not focus on the youth generation because obviously they will be in touch. But even for a person
Mm,
in 90s generation or 80s 70s,
mm,
they also
mm,
have to start getting adapted to this prompt engineering which we are talking about. Now
mm,
let us just say, as we previously spoke on, searching for jobs is a
mm,
very main thing many
mm,
people want these days. So let
mm.
us try prompting with that.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'll
Yeah.
give you an example. Like in this particular scenario, see the most important thing that you have to understand is that the way you Google or way you have Googled all these years, we're
Yeah.
all very accustomed to that, right? We know how we
Okay.
basically use keywords like best jobs in Chennai, and the Mari is how we Google. Now, when you use ChatGPT or any other tool for that matter, AI tool for that matter, you can't do it in this way.
Okay.
If you just give it keywords, it's going to be very very basic information. So the more detailed you give it, the better the results are, like I told you. So take
Okay.
this example for example, to find a job, let's say, to find a job in Chennai. Okay.
Okay.
You have to give it a particular structure. There are
Okay.
different structures or different frameworks available. I'll give you one example.
Okay.
One is called the RTF framework: the role, the task, and format. Okay, role,
Okay.
task, and format. So you have to always ask ChatGPT to put on a role or take up a role. So, for example, in this case, you can say, think of or imagine yourself as a recruiter in Chennai, okay, who is looking for this particular position, or this particular candidate with this much of experience, and you need your results in a tabular format with all the CVs and contact numbers, etc., etc. So you see, just with three different elements added to it, from a compared to a very generic task like give me the list of jobs in Chennai, you when you give this RTF framework, it'll give you the whole result in like a tabular format with the contact ID and all that stuff, in a very
Okay.
very very professional way. Like it basically takes away another 2-3 hours of your research time. uh,
Okay.
so that's the difference. So to answer your question, you have to give a particular framework. So you can imagine, sorry, you can tell ChatGPT saying that imagine yourself as a
As this
recruiter,
person. Yeah.
as this particular person, and do this task, which is gather me all the job opportunities for this particular role with this kind of experience
Okay.
within Chennai, and give it some limitations. Always
Okay.
don't give it open-minded questions, like give it
Okay.
limitations, then it works better. And say
Limitations
what
as in
limitations, as in only in from Chennai, or
Chennai.
only
Okay. Yeah.
within this salary range, some kind of limitations. And of
Okay.
course ask for the final format. So say give
Okay.
it to me in PDF format or in a tabular format with all the rows and columns and all the data properly arranged in all of them. Then
Okay.
it gives you the best result.
ஓகே.
Yeah.
இன்னொன்னு ChatGPTலே நெறைய கேட்டகரிஸ் இருக்கு. Many people
Mm,
are not knowing.
mm,
So for example, for research purpose நான் இத பத்தி I'm going to research and do a paper அப்படின்னா,
mm,
அதுக்கு வந்து ஒரு தனி set of category இருக்கு. Just for
mm.
creating images and videos இருக்கு. So
ஆமா.
அத கொஞ்சம் explain பண்றீங்களா? So what to
Yeah.
approach for what and what version are we right in and how it is evolving?
Yeah, so most people use ChatGPT for number one, writing content. That is the biggest usage of ChatGPT. It
Yeah.
could be for websites, it could be for some project work, it could be for writing emails, whatever. So that is the biggest use of ChatGPT. And in that, one tip I can give you is
Yeah.
train ChatGPT to write like you, which means teach it your personal style, give all the examples that you can. That is one way of doing it. Number two is you can ask it to write like a famous person. Like, for example, if you're writing a book, you could say write like Chetan Bhagat, and it'll give
Ah.
you a very funny, casual Chetan kind of a vibe in your writing, because it knows
Okay.
what is the style of Chetan Bhagat. right?
Okay.
So that is
How
one
to
thing.
feed ChatGPT right like me? How do I do that prompt engineering there?
So there you have to teach it, basically give examples of your previous writings. The more examples you
Okay.
give it, and tell it, hey, these are my writings.
Ah,
Now
okay.
learn from it and give me a summary of my personal style
Yeah.
that I can document. So it'll give you in
Okay.
list type, as in saying, oh, you always start by this particular salutation, or you
Okay.
always have this friendly tone, or you have a serious tone, whatever that is. So it'll decipher
Okay.
your style and it'll write it down for you. So you yourself will know more about your writing style through
Yes.
ChatGPT. And then it
Yes,
will
yes,
use it.
indeed.
And the Mary. And
Nice.
then, yeah.
நீங்க வந்து இப்ப அது
Hmm.
அது ஒரு கேட்டகரி. ஐ
Hmm.
திங்க் தேர் ஆர் ஆல்சோ அதர் கேட்டகரீஸ் இன்
Images. Yeah. Yeah.
ChatGPTல. லைக் அதெல்லாம் கொஞ்சம் சொல்றீங்களா?
Sure,
ஃபார்
sure.
அஸ் டு நோ.
Yeah, absolutely. So the other thing is image generation, which is a recent addition where you can actually generate a lot of images with simple prompts. Um,
Okay.
I wouldn't say this would be like perfect real life kind of images, but you can get away with like imagery than Googling or something like that, right? You can have
Yeah.
your own copyrighted stuff.
Okay.
You don't have
Okay.
to take somebody else's. That is
Okay.
one thing. Then the other use of ChatGPT is again with data and statistics. And ChatGPT is very good with reasoning, which means you can ask something like, "Hey, what do you think about frequencies and energies associated with it?
Okay.
How does it show up in different forms in different mythology or different cultures around the world? Very very deep questions like this, and it'll tell you,
Okay.
oh, frequencies are the basis according to Nikola Tesla. You have to understand or look at world in terms of energy and frequency, and in the Hindu literature, this is how it translates into, and it might even quote you some
Okay.
mantras or whatever, and it'll tell you in Egypt this is how it equates, and
Okay.
because it can put together everything in one place and
Everything. Yeah.
give you like a report sort of.
ஆ
So
அந்த எக்ஸ்ப்ளோர்ன்ற ஆப்ஷன்ல நம்மளுக்கு நெறைய இருக்குல்ல. லைக் என்
mm,
நம்பர் ஆஃப் பிக்ஸ் இருக்கு.
mm,
ஹியூமனைஸ் மீ ஆர்
yes,
ப்ரொடக்டிவிட்டி டூல்ஸ்,
yeah,
பிரசன்டேஷன் பண்றதுக்கு.
yeah.
தேர் ஆர் லாட் ஆஃப் ஆப்ஷன்ஸ் பிகாஸ் ஆஃப் விச் வி கெட் கன்ஃப்யூஸ்ட். ஹவ் டு ஐ நோ வாட் இஸ் ரைட் ஃபார் மீ ஆர் எப்படி அத
it,
அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட்
I
பண்றது?
would personally say, instead of taking those pre-built kind of tasks, you tell ChatGPT what to do, because take it as a blank, blank plate, or
Canva. Okay.
yeah, and then tell it exactly what to do. So if you want to, let's say, you want to draw a picture and you want to get some inspiration, you can ask, hey, can you show me some pictures which are inspirational about such and such subject, and it will show you the
Okay.
famous pictures, etc., etc. So or if you want to create a presentation, you can say so from scratch. Say, I want to create a presentation. This is for such and such target audience. This is going to be in a school or a corporate environment. My goal is such and such. And
Okay.
my time limit is this much. I don't want too many bullet points. I want it to be friendly. I want it to be funny. So all information. So for example, if you have an assistant, how much information will you tell that person? That and a little bit more, if you can give to ChatGPT, it can do wonders. So instead of
Okay.
picking up those categories or tasks, if you start from scratch, you have a lot more liberty to go in and
Play
explore.
around as well.
So there is
Okay.
I haven't found any example where it would say, no, I can't do this. The
Okay.
only problem is it might say, for example, certain things like certain data or some government related stuff. It might say, or if some morality, things like that, it'll say, I'm not allowed to talk about those things, and it'll keep you away from it. But otherwise, for the larger audience, for the most of the things that we know of, it can do it for you.
ஓகே.
Yeah.
இன்ட்ரஸ்டிங். தட்ஸ்
Mhm.
இன்ட்ரஸ்டிங்.
Mhm.
இப்ப எனக்கு என்னன்னா,
Mm.
எவல்யூஷன் இப்ப ChatGPTலே லைக் ஈவன் தோ இட் கேம் லைக் 2, 3 இயர்ஸ் பேக் ஐ கெஸ்.
Yeah.
பட் பீப்பிள் ஹேவ் பீன் யூசிங் இட் இன் ரீசென்ட் டைம்ஸ் தான் நெறைய அளவுக்கு அந்த ரீச் இருந்திருக்கு. ஸோ
Mm.
ஹவ் இட் இஸ் எவால்விங் அண்ட் ஹவ் வில் இட் கெட் எவால்வ்ட், வாட் பீப்பிள் மஸ்ட் பி ப்ரிப்பேர்ட் ஃபார்?
Brilliant question, Raghavi. See, like I told you earlier, a lot of things were changing like on an hourly, daily basis, right? New
Yeah.
technologies coming in, like, what happened with deep seek the other day, right?
Yes, yes.
Everybody
That was one
thought
of
that
my question as well.
yeah, so everybody thought ChatGPT is the go-to tool or the ultimate AI tool, right? And then
Yeah.
along comes one amazing tool called DeepSeek from China, and it basically did a lot better than ChatGPT, and everybody was after it. So
Yeah.
now, Twitter, or basically on X, Elon Musk has come up with its own AI called Grok 3. It is called. It was only like
Okay.
about a day or two before, and that is supposedly even better than DeepSeek. So every day you have these new tools coming. So it's very important for us to understand that it's about how to use these tools that you have to understand, like you have to learn, right? The World Economic Forum, I believe, released out a data the other day, giving out like what are the jobs that are likely, less likely, and very likely to be replaced by AI.
AI. Yeah.
And it's very interesting. I'll come to that. But to answer your question regarding the evolution, see, right now we are in a phase where we are talking about generative AI, which means we are asking AI to create stuff like paintings or drawings and articles, music, etc., etc. Now
Yeah.
we are headed towards what we call this agentic AI, which is
Okay.
now AI, like ChatGPT is going to have agents, just like how you must have seen the Matrix movie, right? The old one.
Yeah.
In that, there are these agents who, if given a task, they'll just go get that task done, and only then they will stop. They're portrayed in a very evil way in the Matrix, but that's
Yeah.
not how it is. But at least from the way they get the tasks done, that is how they perform.
நான் கூட
um,
இனிஷியலா பயந்துட்டேன். ஏன்னா மேட்ரிக்ஸ்னா, ஐயோ! தே ரீப்ளேஸ் ஹியூமன்ஸ்ல அப்படி அது மாரி சொல்ல வரீங்களோன்னு நெனச்சேன். பட் ஓகே.
ஆமா, கிட்டத்தட்ட அந்த மாதிரி தான் ஆக்சுவலா. But the thing is, for now you are asking ChatGPT to write an article, let's say. That is one
Yeah.
task, le?
Yeah.
Now what agent will do, it'll write a task, then it'll go to 10 websites, it'll research from there, it'll put together a project, then it'll make like 10 different pieces of content for Instagram and YouTube and TikTok
Ah.
or whatever. It'll post it on those handles that you have. It'll wait for its performance. It'll look at the analytics, and it'll delete the ones that are not performing. It'll understand the ones that are well performing, and then it'll do more of those. So that is the
Oh my
level of
god.
complexity it can go, and it will not stop until it gets the task
What
done.
it's done.
Yes. So
Oh my
that
god.
is
Yeah.
agents. So we are headed towards the agentic AI evolution. So that's where it's getting. And then afterwards gets scary. After that, you're getting into the emotional part of AI. Like now it'll think like a human, and it'll have emotion and things like that. So I'm sure
Okay.
that's also coming up sometime soon. So it's scary, it's beautiful, and it's very interesting.
Okay, all three. You're giving me all three options in one bucket, and you're telling it very casually, but the scary part is there, right? The
Yes.
scary part நான் சொல்லும் போது தான் எனக்கு என்ன கேட்குதுன்னு தோணுதுன்னா, where should I
Hmm.
keep my boundaries? இப்போ எதுக்கு எடுத்தாலும் நான் போயிட்டே இருக்கேன் அதை நோக்கி, because the entire generation is becoming like that. So
Yeah.
where should I draw my boundary of using this data, and to which extent am I safe enough to share the data? To which extent I'm not?
Yeah, it's safety is an illusion in a world that we live today, unfortunately. The reason is because whether you share your data or not is not the question. The data is there. That is the
Yeah.
problem. And whenever that data is there, it's going to be picked up by someone. Maybe some app which is safe, maybe some app that is not safe, whether you share it or not. I think a safer question to think about, or a safer perspective to think about, is how do you deal with all of this? Like tomorrow something bad happens, like your private data gets leaked out. How will you deal with it? Because don't be surprised, because these things happen today in a world, and we are hearing news every day about people going through bad times because their data got shared or something like that. And this
Yeah.
is going to happen in the world that coming up, because AI, when it becomes more and more compassionate and emotional, I don't know what is going to happen, right? We can only imagine. So data is there. I mean, you must have heard about all those scary stories about how your phone is listening to your conversations and sharing that
Yeah.
data to like Alexa
For
and all those
example, the
things.
recent Hey Siri, when we say
Yes.
hey, when we just casually tell Sari, இப்ப நம்மலாம் தமிழ்ல சரின்னு
Sorry.
சொன்னாலே சிரின்னு போயிருது. அது
ஆமாமாமா.
வந்து it's capturing data. Yeah,
Yes. So
it's
it's very
scary.
like, for example, if you talk about, let's say, buying a Roomba, robot cleaner, vacuum cleaner. Okay, just give you
Yeah.
an example. You just talk about it with your phone open or something like that. Like, when you're browsing Instagram or something like that, and then
Okay.
a few hours later, or maybe in the next day or something, if you go to Amazon or any other website, you
We
are
get the day. Yeah.
yeah, you're very likely to see an ad of the Roomba.
Exactly.
It's because you're being eavesdropped. And I'm not trying to say that it's because some app is evil or something like that. It's the very nature of technology, right?
Technology. Yeah.
They for the large part of it, they use it for the good. But of course, there is that 1% where things go out of hand, and that's
Hand.
supposed to
Yeah.
happen also. So you just have to be prepared. And so I wouldn't
Prepared.
say draw borders. Of course, that is up to you. Whatever is comfortable, you do that much. But then if something goes out of hand, just be prepared to deal with it and
Deal with
don't be
it.
surprised. I think that's how.
Emotionally, mentally, and physically, I would say.
Very much, very much.
Yeah, because even though we delete the cookies and caches, nothing. Next day it
Nothing.
comes.
Yes,
The
like you
related
remember.
ads come.
Yeah, you remember there was a interview with Mark Zuckerberg. I believe it was on CNN or some large channel, TV
Okay.
channel. And in the background, while he was talking, you would see that his laptop, a MacBook, was open, and there was a band-aid, like like a thing on the camera stuck, like physically on the laptop.
Yeah.
So why would such a like, it's Mark Zuckerberg, right? Like, he has all kinds of control over privacy and all that. But why would he do that? So the best way is to like physically stop the camera from getting turned on, because you have all kinds of apps that can hack and you get your camera to work behind without showing the light and all
Oh.
that. So nobody's
Oh, this
safe.
is making me wonder, like, even in my work laptops, even
Yes.
though, we have this sliding thing to close it up, but
Yeah.
still I should maybe mark a tape and then work,
Yes.
because most of us live in a setup where we have everything done in a single room.
Yes. Yes.
We work in the single room, we sleep in the single room, and everything else is done in the single room. Like, laptop
Yeah.
யாரும் பெருசா க்ளோஸ் பண்றது இல்ல, அப்படியே வச்சுட்டு தான் படுக்கிறது.
Ama.
So yeah,
I'll
it's a
tell
good.
you. I'll tell you one more example just to make you a little bit more scared. So
Yeah,
you know these
throw
Q,
me.
these QR codes that we get from all kinds of, like, promotions and some
Yeah,
ads and all,
yeah.
saying that get into this lucky draw, or you'll get some freebie, scan
Yeah,
this,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
You might see this in like very public places also, like some mall and all that, right? Some huge QR codes. Now there are ways, by if somebody wants to, some perpetrator wants to make use of it, he can just slap on a QR code in a public place, and if somebody
Yeah.
just scans it, he doesn't have to take the action, like.
அவங்களுக்கு பணம் போயிரும். Exactly. இது ஒரு படத்துல கூட காமிச்சிருக்காங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். I'm not remembering
பணம்
it.
கூட இல்ல, பணம் கூட இல்ல. I haven't finished.
Oh,
பணம் is a
sorry.
different thing.
அப்புறம்?
If you scan, you
ஆ.
wouldn't know it. The camera will be accessed by this person. The camera will be taking regular snapshots from your phone, like, at every minute or every 30 second, and it'll be sending to this person or wherever, in the cloud or wherever, and you wouldn't even know, because the camera won't be active. There is no sluggishness on the phone, but it's happening in the background. So in the marida nare, a lot of people, they go to certain websites and they think it's safe, but it's not. Sometimes it's a pop-up that says allow, and then you will click allow, and then it basically gives access to your camera, and then it'll
Oh
be
my
taking,
God.
even after you exit from that website, your photos will be taken going to someone. So all kinds of crazy things. So you
Oh
just have to be
God.
cautious, is what I'm trying to say.
அந்த மாதிரினா இது அது வந்து unconsciously நடக்கிறது இல்ல. We don't
Ama.
even know.
Yes.
அதுல mental preparation we need to be very resilient in
Yes.
those cases. Oh my
We
God.
have to be very prepared, and you have to have certain what do you call it? follow some clean procedures, like don't do anything
Mhm.
stupid. Just
Mhm.
be very, have a little bit of common sense. Like if you go to a website and you feel like it's shady,
Mhm.
don't just exit.
Okay. Okay.
Those are the
Okay.
main things.
You're burdening me with a lot of scary stuff. But yeah,
Not meant to scare.
negativity apart, there are a lot of positive things to think as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
So, this is the new normal, right?
Yeah.
Both negativity and positivity is the new normal.
Yeah.
To our listeners, what would you say today the next 5 years is going to be with ChatGPT?
Yeah.
And our listeners also involve from elderly, young to elderly people. ஸோ
Hmm.
அவங்களுக்குமே வந்து ஒரு நாலேஜ் கொடுக்கணும் நம்ம.
Hmm.
இதுதான் இட்ஸ் கோயிங் டு பி த ஃபியூச்சர், இப்படி தான்
Hmm.
ஹேண்டில் பண்ணி ஆகணும். திஸ்
Hmm.
இஸ் இன்பில்ட்டா வரப்போகுது சாட் ஜிபிடி இன் எவ்ரி திங், நோ மேட்டர்
Hmm.
வாட்,
Hmm.
இன்
Hmm.
ஒன் வே ஆர் த அதர். ஆல்ரெடி
Hmm.
நம்ம இமேஜஸ் அட்வான்ஸ்ட் ஃபோன்
Hmm.
வெர்ஷன்லாம் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா
Hmm.
த இமேஜஸ் ஆர் ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்லி ஏஐ பில்ட்ல எடிட்டிங்ல எல்லாம் நடந்துருது.
Hmm.
So, what is going to be the new normal, and
Hmm.
how well should we be prepared and
Prepare.
equipped for it?
Got it. You see, technology has always been, a disruptive thing, right? Whenever some new technology comes, it disrupts, and there is positives and negatives. When
Yeah.
the mobile technology came, I remember there were like uncles who would say, I'm not the kind of person who would use
Yeah.
mobiles. I don't want to carry like
This
this
is,
big.
yeah, basically technology is a disruptive innovation தான். அதுல தான்
Yes.
அது we have
Yes.
to put
And the
it. Yeah.
disruption, it comes with goods and bads. The goods is always like we see the obvious things. The bads is, just to give you an example, when the mobile phones came up, right? Like a lot of people said, I will not be using the mobile because I don't want to carry around a big block of something in my pocket. I'm good with, நம்ம அந்த பிளாக் ஃபோன்லயா ரவுண்ட் அந்த மாதிரி ரிங் ரிங் ஃபோன் ட்ரிங் ட்ரிங் ஃபோன்
Yes,
வாட் எவர் யூ
yes.
வாண்ட் டு கால் இட். ஆ அதுவே போதும் அந்த மாதிரிலாம்
Mm.
சொல்லியிருந்தேன்ல. பட் டுடே வாட் ஹேப்பன், எவ்ரி grandfather is sitting there sending good morning on
Using,
WhatsApp.
yes, good morning in WhatsApp. Forward messages,
Ama.
especially.
So
Yeah.
just like that, now also with ChatGPT and AI coming in, ChatGPT, I'm saying it's just a tool. Actually, you should say AI. With AI
AI.
coming in, it's very disruptive, and everything is going to be changed. Everything is changing right now in front of our eyes, right? So, like, imagine what had happened 1 year, 2 year back. A lot of those things have changed. I remember
Okay.
when AI came, one of the biggest what do you call thing that people were saying was that it cannot take up creative jobs. It cannot replace humans. That was one argument that came up. Okay, said that like artists and musicians, all those are
Yeah.
creative processes which only humans can do. AI cannot replace. But all the menial jobs, like small repetitive jobs, those will be replaced, is what everyone had told.
Yeah.
But today, look at what has happened. The first
Yeah.
jobs that AI did was like create images, with mid
Yeah,
journey
true.
and everything, and then write very beautiful creative articles or books or what have you.
Yeah,
So the
true.
creativity part is what it took up initially. And
Yes.
now, according to that particular, I told you earlier about this World Economic Forum's data that came out, where it was saying the less likely jobs that'll be taken up by AI is teaching, mentoring, and such jobs, where you need a
Uh,
person to be creative and tell people what to do. But data scientists, people who deal with finance and
yeah.
statistics, those are the jobs which will be taken off 100% by AI.
Yeah.
Because remember, 5 years back, like data scientists, big data and all was like a big deal.
Big deal. Yeah,
It was
exactly.
a buzzword in HR and all. But
Yeah.
today it's saying all the big data scientists, and they all will be replaced by AI, because all I need is a $29 subscription on some AI tool.
AI tool.
And that's also, that's how things are changing. It's very fast,
Rapidly.
very
Rapidly. Yeah.
rapidly. And what we are heading towards to is called what we call a sentient AI, which is machines being able to experience feelings and perceive the world like humans. It's called
Okay.
sentient AI. And
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that some company in China or California somewhere, they're already experimenting on this. It's just that we are not hearing about it. We will hear about it maybe, I don't know, 2 years from now or something, or maybe even sooner.
Yeah.
So you just have
In
to be
one
prepared.
Yeah, in
prepared
one
to
way I
like
feel.
use these tools. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. ஒருவேளை we think now, okay, I feel like it is going to replace humans in one way or the other. Then why do these human generated companies create them? See, it's ultimately going to take somebody's job. Then why do you create it? But in other way, it's also going to be beneficial for a lot of people. It's going to reduce our work, and maybe we will be thinking more
Yeah.
advanced.
Yeah.
But it is what it is ultimately.
It
We
is what
can't
it is.
ask the companies to stop,
Yeah.
stop doing this AI things, and because it's replacing human beings, we have to acknowledge that this is going to be the new normal,
Yes.
and live
Yes.
with it. Start
Yeah.
live with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Just like how computers came up, there were a lot of cry about it'll take up jobs. But now
jobs.
imagine like whoever knows how to use computers are the ones who are excelling at their jobs, right?
Excelling.
So similar
Yeah.
thing with AI. If you learn how to use AI, if you learn
Ah.
how to use the tools that AI provides, then you might be in a better position. But if you're not upgrading yourself, you might lose.
Yes, regarding that, let us
Mm.
end our podcast with that note, because learning is very important. So, for a normal person or for an elderly person who wants to know more about this, what pages or what platforms they can go and read, or what books they can read, what some suggestions by you. நீங்க படிச்சு இன்ஸ்பயர் ஆன புக்ஸ், நீங்க பார்த்து இன்ஸ்பயர் ஆன people who talk about these things, இல்ல உங்க பேஜே கூட நான் ஃபாலோ பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன், because you talk a lot of things about this which is really new to me. அதனால தான் I'm asking you,
Yeah.
what are other platforms can we approach?
To be completely honest with you, I don't want to take any names as such, but I'll tell you a interesting thing. So you know what Guru Purnima is, right? Like where you worship your gurus. That's the
Yes, yes,
idea
yes.
behind it. So for the last Guru Purnima, I casually joked saying that for puja, I should put my YouTube on puja because I've learned so much from YouTube than any other book or college or any other person, right? So
Okay.
same thing. A lot of things. YouTube is not just entertainment today. There's a lot of things you can learn if you find it, if you know how to find it. There are master courses on AI. There are courses about how to create AI agents, about chat gpt tricks and a lot of these things. So my go-to place is YouTube, where I learn all of this. There are
Yeah.
paid courses and all, which I wouldn't recommend as much. Still, if you're good and creative and smart enough, you can find these stuff for free.
Okay.
um, but there are I would recommend like also looking at the other side of it. Like for example, there are folks who are big advocates against AI, like Yuval Noah Harari, right? He has written a lot of books about how AI is going to take over, and he's not very positive about it. He speaks about the bad sides of it. So it's also good to learn the other side, so we can kind of like have a balanced look at it, balanced perspective. So I would also urge to check up authors like that. um, so I don't really have any names to say, but of
Yes,
course,
yes, yes.
whatever I learn myself, I share through my Instagram
Instagram,
account and my
yeah.
YouTube channel. So maybe that's a
Yes,
good place
it's
to
it's
start.
it's high time for us to share your socials as well at this time. So please feel free to do that.
Yeah, it's basically if you just look up Mani Karthik on Instagram, you will see me. You will also see me on YouTube if you look up Mani Karthik. So that's the handle by which I go for everywhere. Nothing
Yeah,
else.
okay.
So
Thank you so much, Mani, for joining us today and giving us an informative session about ChatGPT. There are a lot of things which, personally, I feel it's very scary though at first place, but also, things that I should acknowledge and start learning about. அந்த மாதிரி தான் நிறைய இருந்தது இன்னைக்கு. Before going, just a quick question. Deep seek, because
yeah.
that's trending. நம்ம
Mm.
ட்ரெண்டான டாபிக்கை பத்தி கொஞ்சம் பேசிட்டு then
Mhm.
we'll wind up into எனக்கு தோணுது. What do you think
Sure.
about deep seek?
DeepSeek is China's checkmate for ChatGPT, so to speak, because ChatGPT is a great tool. It's a nice, innovative company behind it called OpenAI and all that.
Yeah.
But they also had some mistakes. One grave mistake they did was they made the tool paid. Of
Okay.
course, the free version is there, but it's probably 10 times as ineffective as the paid tool, in my
Okay.
personal opinion. The paid tool is so much more better. So that was one mistake they did. So what happened because of that is it couldn't be democratized as such. As in, everybody knows ChatGPT, but they would just try the free tool and they will just call it a day. They wouldn't upgrade. The vast
Yeah.
majority of people. So DeepSeek, kind of took a stab at that, and they made
Okay.
a better tool in terms of performance, and
Okay.
they made it free. So
Okay.
what happened was a lot of people just immediately jumped into a DeepSeek and
Deep seek.
embraced it, started using it. I personally have an aversion towards it because of the history of apps associated with that part of the world. Have a lot of issues, and privacy concerns and data
Yeah.
issues and all that. I have a kind of a aversion towards it. And I've seen a lot of inaccuracies also with DeepSeek, which kind
Okay.
of gave me a bad taste. Or maybe because ChatGPT got the first mover advantage, and I'm more
Yeah. First
familiar.
come,
And
first impression மாதிரி கூட இருக்கலாம்.
yeah, so I'm going to stick with ChatGPT.
ChatGPT. ஓகே.
Yeah,
ஓகே தென். ரொம்ப நன்றி மணி கார்த்திக் இன்னைக்கு ஜாயின் பண்றதுக்கு. நம்மளோட லிசனர்ஸ்க்கு ChatGPTனா என்ன? அத எப்படி எஃபெக்டிவா யூஸ் பண்ணலாம்? அதுல ஃபேஸ் பண்ணக்கூடிய சேலஞ்சஸ், the new normal of start living with the AI world, right? இதெல்லாம் பத்தி நல்ல இன்ஃபர்மேட்டிவா அழகா ஒரு கதை கேட்குற மாதிரி அழகா டிஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணிட்டீங்க. மக்களே, உங்க ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் அண்ட் ஃபேமிலி மெம்பர்ஸ், அம்மா அப்பாவா இருக்கலாம், தாத்தா பாட்டியா இருக்கலாம், வயசானவங்களான்னு யோசிக்காதீங்க. ஈவன் ஃபார் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ், உங்களோட யங்கர் ஜென்ரேஷனா கூட இருக்கலாம். அவங்களுக்கெல்லாம் கண்டிப்பா இப்ப இருக்கிற ஏஐ வேர்ல்ட்ல எப்படி இருக்கணும் அப்படின்றது தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும். They should have a basic idea that this is going to be the new normal. Post pandemic ஒரு நியூ நார்மல்னா இது ஒரு கைண்ட் ஆஃப் நியூ நார்மல். ஸோ கண்டிப்பா இந்த எபிசோட அவங்களுக்கெல்லாம் ஷேர் பண்ணுங்க. Railpetty Thoughts is very thankful to Mani. Thank you once again for joining us in amazing episode today.
pleasure is all mine, Raghavi. I don't think we can wind up everything in 1 hour. We probably
Yeah.
need like 3-4 hours for this, but it's been a pleasure. Loved talking about it. I hope it was useful for the listeners. Looking forward to it. Thank you for the opportunity.
தேங்க்யூ ஸோ மச். நன்றி மக்களே. நான் கிளம்ப வேண்டிய நேரம் வந்தாச்சு. இப்போ உங்களை அடுத்த வாரம் சந்திக்கிறேன் ஒரு சுவாரஸ்யமான எபிசோட்ல. டாடா.